All right, a couple things before we get started. For one, thank you for watching. This has been really fun to work on, this map. Secondly, thank you, Mantic, for sharing my video in your last newsletter. It's awesome. I'd recommend if anyone else is thinking about making Halo Flashpoint content, just do it. None of us are trying to get famous who are making Halo Flashpoint content. We're simply just trying to get the word out there and get more people into it and, yeah, just have more players to play against. But today we're going to be working on the steps, the stairs, and the crane. I don't know if you can see that behind me, but yeah, let's get after it. Come on.
Alright, so I cut out the template for the stairs, both sides of the stairs, by getting a 3x3 inch piece of chipboard and making 3mm squares in them, and then cutting out, a straight line, and then those like half squares in there to make that kind of base for the stairs. Then I traced all of them, a ton of them, in this chipboard, and I'll put the link in the description of which I used, which chipboard I used, and then I cut it all out. My hands, let me tell you, were so very sore. My wrists were so sore afterwards. It was crazy, but we got them out. Then I had to basically, yeah, just keep going, keep cutting those jagged edges out so I can rest those, planks on them after gluing them together like this, as you can see. And the next thing to do was to trace those planks that I was talking about. These are 3mm thick. I thought that was a pretty good size for them, but you might want them thicker. It doesn't really matter because we're going to be putting some grates over them, and it's going to make them a little bit wider. But yeah, then I just plopped them out. I mean, so many of these. Like, I needed, I think, 7 per each staircase. So yeah, this took a while, but I finally got some, and you can see that pile of them right there. And we just put some hot glue on each of those ends. I started with the bottom and the top first. But yeah, it's just as simple as hot gluing them together. You could use super glue if you want, but I felt hot glue was necessary enough. You can see I'm hitting the top portion right here. And I use those same 3-inch planks to make the supports on these. Now, there is an alternative. If you don't want to make them yourself, I will link in the description. There's a website called Uncertain Scenery. They sell MDF terrain in the dead zone scale, and they have a ton of these stairs and steps and ladders and things. But I wanted to keep the cost down. I mean, this probably only cost me like 15 bucks to make all these. Just costs a little time. That's if you have like glue and stuff like that at home. But you can see here I'm testing out putting a Spartan on there, making sure he's sturdy enough and he fits. Once we put those grates on there, then he'll be even more sturdy. But you can see here I'm contemplating magnetizing these portions because some of them do not need supports. And magnetizing would be really, really nice, and I do end up doing that, but that's later on. This stuff I'll put in the description. These are just like these grid plastic grates. We're just going to put them on all of the steps on there, make them feel a little bit more industrial. Goes on really nice there with super glue, and it allows just a lot more texture in the stairs just in general. We're going to be painting these bad leads up so that dry brushing on these stairs will be nice. Now this is where I start to magnetize. I just drill a little hole in there. Use some magnets. I used Gorilla Glue at first, which was just a terrible idea because super glue sets a lot faster. You can see I'm putting one in there and trying to carefully remove it and marking the, oh, I lost the magnet. So definitely want to move them away. You'll probably not be filming, so you don't have to do this, but I'm marking the end that is going to magnetize to the actual magnet, so they're not repelling each other. But you can see I tried this again. I have to wait a couple hours for this Gorilla Glue to dry before I was smart and went out to get super glue. But yeah, I found that just one on each side worked just fine. It was a little unsturdy, but I was never afraid. You'll see here in a second, I was never afraid that it was going to collapse or fall. It was definitely strong enough, just a little bit wiggly. And this is showing you one of the ones that I completed, how it snaps on there, and you can see it wiggles a little bit, but like I said, there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to hold up in a game. You can put the Spartans in, you can take them out. The ones that don't have magnets that just freely stand, sometimes they do move when you start putting stuff. Ignore that. I'm going to start on the crane, which is a TT combat crane. You can see some of the construction crane, the information right there. This was only like 20 something bucks. Normally I'd break down like all the prices, but yeah, this was only like 20-25 bucks. Plus whatever shipping. The chipboard was just like 10 bucks, and those grates were only like 6 bucks. So it's a really cheap build for making this stuff. But you can see I'm looking through all the different pieces here, and I'm starting to make the base for this crane right here. Now it's important to know that I have one crane right here that I'm showing you build. There's going to be another crane in the future, but I'm not going to build that just yet until I build the scarab, because it's going to be connecting to the scarab. Well, this one's just going to be freestanding there. But I don't use Gorilla Glue. Go out, buy some super glue. I hate that stuff, that just normal Gorilla Glue, not the super glue. I put some on there and then hot glued some of the pieces together to make it stick so it would set overnight. Yes, it is very strong, and I'm very confident in the adhesive, the Gorilla Glue now, but just dealing with that stuff right away, you might as well just use super glue. But you can see my technique here is to put some hot glue on there, and on the other spots the Gorilla Glue. You can see here we're starting to build the bottom of the crane structure, I guess, the shaft of it. It is really nice because they have these little clips that you could put on to hold it together while it dries, if you're like me and you use crappy glue. And don't make the same mistake that I did. I actually put on the wrong pieces. There are specific pieces with little holes in them that the ladder is supposed to go. I did not do that, so I had to take some of them off and glue the ladders into place like how they're supposed to be, which is like this. Which looks really nice, fits in there pretty perfectly. It's really only the base that has to be glued, super glued, in order for you to create all the other stuff, because a lot of the other stuff does fit right in. This is some more of the top part that I created, and it's attached. So we attached the main crane part that's going to hold, you know, all the supports. But there it is in its glory. You can see my wall in the background. We're going to take this and put it on the map to see what it looks like. Not bad, right? It looks pretty good. It fits in there perfectly. It's exactly how I imagined it. Ignore the giant wrinkle in the back there. I need to get some new background. You can see we're dry brushing moon dust, Army Painter's moon dust, on the stairs right now, just to make everything pop more, so it's a little bit more visible. These were really dark. I tested them out. They were really dark on the board. This is the orange rusty or red rusty pigment on there. I did put orange on these, on the rust spots. I don't know why I keep forgetting to film it, but look at all of these. Just awesome looking stairs in the box. There's so many of them. I know we're jumping around a little bit, but we're going to go back to the crane here and paint the stairs this dark brown color. We want it to match the kind of rusty industrial look. If you want a full painting tutorial, look at part 1 of my video. I'll try to put that in the description too, but that has all the colors and the full painting tutorial on the other stuff. We're going to hit up some of these beams with silver. We're going to hit some of the crane's accent colors with this brighter green. I would recommend using a pretty bright green because it's hard to see in dim light. Looks kind of nice wet, but once it gets into dim light, it tends to disappear. And you can't forget these yellow accent light pieces because it really brings out the feel of this terrain. I hit it up with some of that rust as well, and then just a big, you know, wet, sloppy coat of Agrax Earthshade. Very watered down. I don't care if it pools. More pooling, the better. It's gonna look gross a little bit. And then I put some chip paint on there, and I was pretty happy with this overall. I think it's gonna look really good on the tabletop, and it's gonna help be a good centerpiece for the board.
All right, and let's take a look at what we have accomplished. There should be some B-roll going right now. This feels like a complete playable map now. We got those stairs in there. They're magnetized. I will say one of the things that I was looking at is that there's definitely making these stairs all that brown rusty color definitely takes away a lot of that green. So I'm so happy that this crane I ended up painting green because we needed some more of that green back in there, that more new UNSC structure, because the story kind of behind it is that the rusty buildings and stairs were already there for a long time, and then UNSC dropped some new equipment and some new buildings there later on, and that's why you see it once this scarab was found, and they decided to make this outpost a scarab kind of plasma harvesting facility. So they dropped in that new crane, which looks newer. It's still a little bit old in age, but because it has been abandoned. But that's what's going to be holding the scarab up, and they need to drop that in there. But really happy with this. You know, the stairs in Dead Zone and Halo Flashpoint, they don't actually add any real gameplay value. It basically gives you a little bit of height advantage. You can hide behind them, but a lot of times it's just aesthetics. Because you can be slightly higher, you'll get an extra dice to your roll. It helps with that, but really it just makes the map feel more complete. It makes it look more real, like a real life scenario or map or area. But yeah, I'm really in love with this. I can't decide whether I want to do some of the small scatter and some of the conveyor belts that I purchased next, or if I just want to go all out, buy a 3D printer and print the big scarab that's going to go right in the center. It's really not even going to be that big. It's probably only going to be about 12 inches wide, but that's okay because I'm not trying to make this to scale. I'm just trying to make it look cool and playable. So I don't know what I'm going to do next. It might be a little bit before my next video because of the 3D printing process. But yeah, man, thanks for watching, guys. If, like I said before, if you're thinking about making any Halo maps or like painting anything or whatever, just put it out there. That's what I did. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next update.